In the history of heavy metal, few figures were as iconic and outspoken as Lemmy Kilmister, the legendary frontman of Motorhead. Known for his raspy voice, thunderous bass playing, and live life on your own terms philosophy, Lemmy became a symbol of pure rock and roll rebellion. But while he loved music deeply, he had strong feelings against certain bands and genres. Over the years, he revealed that there were some movements in the industry he truly hated, and he never shied away from naming them. His opinions became part of his legacy, not just because of his blunt honesty, but because they reflected his vision of what real rock music should always stand for. One of Lemmy's biggest criticisms was aimed at fake punk bands. Unlike authentic acts such as the Ramones, whom he respected, Lemmy despised the groups that jumped on the punk wave without truly believing in it. For him, punk was never about just wearing ripped clothes or spitting on stage. It was about honesty, rebellion, and living a raw, uncompromising life. Many bands of the late 70s and early 80s imitated the look and sound of punk without having the genuine attitude behind it. Lemmy saw through the act and was vocal about his disgust. In his eyes, these fake punk acts were betraying the very movement they pretended to belong to. Another major target of his hatred was the rise of glam metal and hair metal bands during the 1980s. Acts like Poison, Warrant, and Cinderella were often criticized for their obsession with looks, flashy outfits, and over-the-top theatrics. Lemmy couldn't stand how these bands cared more about hairspray, spandex, and polished music videos than about raw sound and truth in their music. While some fans enjoyed the catchy tunes, Lemmy thought it was all superficial nonsense that diluted the essence of rock. He believed rock and roll should be dirty, fast, and honest, not a fashion show for MTV. Lemmy also had no patience for commercial sellout bands. He hated when artists abandoned their original sound just to chase chart success or please record labels. To Lemmy, music was never about fitting into trends or pleasing executives. It was about expressing your soul with full honesty. He stayed loyal to Motorhead's raw, unpolished sound for decades, and he had contempt for those who watered down their style just to get radio play. For him, selling out was the ultimate betrayal of rock's rebellious spirit. What made Lemmy's words so powerful was that he spoke from experience. He had lived through the rise of rock and metal, seen bands form and fall apart, and watched the industry pressure artists to become something they weren't. Unlike many others, Lemmy refused to bend. Motorhead's sound remained consistent, fast, aggressive, and uncompromising. That's why fans trusted him when he called out fakeness in the music world. Still, it's worth noting that Lemmy's hatred wasn't directed at all new or popular acts. He respected authenticity wherever he found it, whether in punk, metal, or even pop. His problem was never with a genre itself, but with bands that lacked truth. He had great admiration for honest musicians who poured their heart into their work, regardless of whether they were commercially successful. But when it came to fake punkers, image-driven glam stars, and soulless sellouts, Lemmy made it clear he had no respect for them. Even years after his passing in 2015, Lemmy's strong opinions still echo in the music community. His hatred for fake commercialized acts reminds us that authenticity is the most important ingredient in rock and roll. He never cared about trends or fame, he cared about staying true to the music. And while many may not agree with all his criticisms, nobody can deny that Lemmy lived and died as one of the truest rock icons ever.